Hello, everyone. We're going to be talking about some forks of Bitcoin today and see how they're doing in the market, but I thought we'd start off with another update on how Bitcoin itself is doing. And as you can see here, we are still holding above our trend line. We're currently fighting this resistance zone right here between about 10.2 and 10.4. We're actually testing right now just a little above it, above 10.4. Looking like we want to stay in this bull market, like we want to get up. If we see a solid break out above 10.4, I'd say the next real resistance is going to be at 11. So watch for a solid breakup from there. Otherwise, if we get rejected here, we might test back down to the trend line, about 10.2 down to 10,000 even. That could happen again in the next few hours, so watch for that as well. So that's pretty much Bitcoin. Again, in the coming days, even weeks, we're going to eventually have to decide if we're going to keep rising or if we're going to start falling off this the top of this channel we keep testing on, but we'll get to that in time. So that's Bitcoin for you. Moving on to some Bitcoin forks. Let's start off with the most well-known fork of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash. Here we see Bitcoin Cash on the daily. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Bitcoin Cash. It is generally the most popular fork of Bitcoin. A couple of years ago, it broke off because, in a nutshell, it wanted larger blocks. A lot of the Bitcoin core community did not, so there was a fork. Bitcoin Cash got its larger blocks. It has a big emphasis on using its coin as actual cash. Bitcoin is currently more of a store of value, though some people use it both ways. Bitcoin Cash has an emphasis on fast, cheap transactions and using larger blocks to scale. I'm not here to debate any controversies around it. I know some of these coins are controversial. Just talking about what they are and how they're doing in the market. So Bitcoin Cash on the daily here. Let's see. We are testing. Bitcoin Cash has held really well above its trend line this whole year. We're currently testing a little below it. We're in a support zone between 300 and 320. Looks like it wants to hold. We're testing back up to get above this line. It's looking optimistic, but we'll see. Watch for a solid break below 300. There's another support zone below that from about 260 to 280. So there's a good chance we'll be not tumbling too far with all this support here. We lose 260. It does look a little bit more rough. There is a bit of a drop because of the rise we had so fast back in April. But if we hold, then watch for us to get back above this trend line and then to test back up to about 360 is going to be your first major resistance and some more at about 400. So watch for that if we break up. So yeah, that's Bitcoin Cash is doing pretty well. That's about that. Let's move on to another well-known fork of Bitcoin Cash, actually, Bitcoin SV. Bitcoin SV here on the daily again, and Bitcoin SV is the also controversial fork of Bitcoin Cash that happened late last year, possibly causing the crash that we saw in November, but I think that's still up for debate. You're probably familiar with it though. In a nutshell, Bitcoin SV is just, it broke off of Bitcoin Cash for, again, philosophical issues. It wanted still larger blocks. It wanted to make some adjustments to the protocol and actually try to get it back to what it saw as the original Bitcoin protocol. That's why the SV stands for Satoshi's vision. Again, there's some controversy around whether or not it's doing that correctly. Not here to debate that. Just another fork of Bitcoin, but it is doing fairly well, if I'm being honest. It's more volatile. It has it's a little bit smaller cap coin, but it had a pretty solid beginning of the year. When it lost it a lot. I have the Fibonacci levels up here because it's been responding really well to them. So right now we're holding on our trend line. And I'd say at least part of that is because of the support it's seeing at about 130 on this Fibonacci level here. It's the, let's see, 0.382 Fibonacci level. It looks like it's at about 128, 130-ish. So we want to see this keep climbing. And realistically, you're watching, if we have a break below here, then you're watching probably to go down to the next Fibonacci level. That's why I don't have any other lines on here, is that the Fibonacci lines seem to be doing a pretty good job. So a break below this level and this trend line, a solid break, probably taking us down to about $100. And if we can hold, then we're going to test up. We're going to test about 150, 152 range. After that, we're going to test up to about 175 or so, 176. You might see some turbulence within there, but those are the levels to watch. This one's really responding well to Fibonacci. So yeah, if you're watching at Bitcoin SV, watch for that. Last up, we're looking at Bitcoin Gold here. Had a little bit of a rougher time than the other two, but first off, Bitcoin Gold is basically a version of Bitcoin that is aiming to still be mineable by GPUs, as opposed to large ASIC mining farms. They want users who just have a decent GPU to still be able to mine the coin and be part of the network. So that's what sets it apart. It did fork off of Bitcoin not all that long ago. And yeah, it's had a rougher go. It started off the year pretty solid, like the other coins, bit volatile, lower market cap. When it crashed down with the market dipping, it crashed down hard. It didn't even hesitate much on its ascent line, unlike a lot of coins. Didn't hesitate much on this, what was a support line, now is a resistance line. So now we're in this support zone down here between about $12 and $14. Looks like it has pretty good support there, so we might be able to hold. We need to get back up, obviously. $18 is our first major resistance. It seems like it could get back up there pretty quick. It's reasonably volatile, so we break that. We're looking to break up towards. First, we gotta test this trend line on the way up, and then of course get up to about 26 here as the next major resistance. That could take a minute, but it does have enough volatility. It could rise kind of quick. That would probably still take a pretty strong market shift behind it. So for right now, the best we're probably hoping for is holding in this support range, holding above 14 or at least above 12. We could see some more sideways action inside of here if it can't get up. And then if we break below 12, probably a pretty quick fall to 10. And then we're looking, it's not much lower here, a little above 9. That's the all-time low. So we lose 12, and it's not looking too good for Bitcoin Gold. We really don't want to see us testing on those all-time lows. But if the market in general isn't doing very well, we might see that. So watch for that. For now, though, just really hope that it holds above at least 12 and try to get above 14 and start testing back up. That's what we want for Bitcoin Gold. All right, that wraps it up for me today. I know there's a lot of other forks of Bitcoin, but I wanted to focus on the big three because they're the most commonly used and referenced. As I always say, this is not investment advice. This is just my personal opinion. Do your own research, make your own decisions. I'll be back next week, so until next time, don't forget that like and subscribe. Good luck with those trades.